On the cold, mist-shrouded morning of October 14th, 2022, along a heavily trafficked corridor of the A21 highway in Kent, England, a massive low-loader transport truck ground to a halt. Flanked by 3 escort vehicles with amber lights flashing against the pre-dawn darkness, the multi-axle vehicle carried a highly specialised, climate-controlled container weighing over 12 tonnes. This particular stretch of asphalt, typically thrumming with the commuter traffic of thousands of vehicles travelling toward London, had been entirely closed to the public, severed by heavy steel barriers and guarded by high-visibility security personnel. Engineers and wildlife officials stood in the damp air, checking their watches as the hydraulic system of the transport vehicle hissed, lowering the massive crate onto the reinforced verge just yards from the asphalt. Inside the darkened enclosure, something stirred, its heavy breathing fogging the small, reinforced viewing ports. The public had been told the closure was for critical infrastructure modernisation and ecological restoration, but the true nature of the cargo remained a closely guarded secret, leaving local drivers to wonder what could possibly justify freezing one of the region's most vital transport arteries. What transpired across that asphalt over the subsequent 18 months was a sequence of events that absolutely no one predicted. A biological phenomenon that stunned field researchers and left transportation officials utterly speechless. It is an ecological milestone that international scientists still discuss in hushed, reverent tones at global conservation summits. My name is Julian Vance, and this is the full arc of the Great Corridor Transformation. By the end of this journey, you will understand precisely how a single engineering decision rewrote the rules of modern conservation. You will discover the hidden ancient instinct that slumbers within creatures we thought we understood, and you will see how infrastructure can become a bridge rather than a barrier to the natural world. But to understand the extraordinary events that unfolded on the A21 highway, you have to start with something entirely unexpected: the microscopic chemistry of ancient soil fungi. For decades, traditional ecology focused heavily on large, visible organisms. Yet a seminal study published in the journal Nature in 2018 demonstrated that the true health of a British woodland rests upon the vast, unseen mycorrhizal networks beneath the forest floor. These underground fungal threads act as a neurological system for the wilderness, distribution networks that transport nutrients and communication signals between ancient oak trees and flora. When modern highways are constructed, the deep compaction of earth does not merely create a smooth surface for rubber tyres, it permanently crushes this delicate subterranean matrix, effectively severing the biological communication lines of the landscape. The woodlands of Kent, long celebrated as the Garden of England, had become islands in a sea of concrete, unable to share genetic material or adapt to changing climatic conditions. Conservationists realised that saving the visible wilderness required addressing this invisible fragmentation. But the prevailing scientific consensus maintained that once a major transport corridor was paved, the underlying ecosystem was effectively dead for centuries. But that is not what happened. As researchers monitored the perimeter of the closed highway during those initial weeks, they began to notice a strange phenomenon occurring within the topsoil just inches from the concrete barriers. The compaction was shifting, and moisture levels were rising in a manner that defied standard hydrological models. In 2021, a comprehensive paper in the Journal of Applied Ecology had established that certain keystone species, often referred to as ecosystem engineers, possess the unique ability to accelerate soil remediation far faster than human mechanical intervention. An ecosystem engineer is an organism that creates, significantly modifies, maintains, or destroys a habitat, exerting a profound influence on the other species utilizing the space. The scientists working along the A21 suspected that if they could introduce the right catalyst, the crushed, sterile margins of the highway might begin to heal themselves, though the sheer scale of the concrete barrier seemed an insurmountable obstacle to any living creature. What they found next changed everything. Initial field surveys revealed that small invertebrates were beginning to cluster along the edges of the tarmac in numbers never before recorded in the region. Beetles, detritivores, and various earthworm species were migrating toward the dormant highway, drawn by a subtle shift in the microclimate caused by the absence of vehicular heat and exhaust fumes. Yet, these tiny pioneers were merely the vanguard of a much larger biological wave, and the researchers knew that without a significant apex presence to stabilize the food web, this minor resurgence would quickly collapse. The team needed a miracle. A creature capable of altering the physical structure of the landscape through its daily routines, yet the surrounding fragmented woodlands were simply too small to support large, dynamic mammals. The project appeared to be reaching a stagnant deadlock, with the highway remaining a barren asphalt scar despite the expensive 18-month closure mandate. Nobody expected what came after. The project had reached its 7th month, and public frustration was mounting over the prolonged traffic diversions, with local media questioning the immense financial cost of keeping the highway closed. And here is where the story turns on a piece of pure luck. During a routine evening patrol near the southern boundary of the exclusion zone, a junior field biologist named Arthur Pendleton noticed a breach in the reinforced chain-link fencing. A massive storm the previous evening had brought down a century-old beech tree, crushing a 20-yard section of the perimeter barrier. Expecting to find stray livestock or perhaps a deer that had wandered onto the empty highway, Pendleton approached with his thermal imaging camera. What appeared on his screen was not the slender silhouette of a deer, but a colossal, undulating heat signature that indicated an animal of immense bulk and power, a creature that theoretically should not have been present anywhere in the south of England. This accidental breach brought to light a profound cultural and historical realization, elevating the project from a simple local road closure to a matter of national heritage and future survival. The United Kingdom had long been criticised as one of the most nature-depleted countries on Earth, a landscape stripped of its ancient megafauna during centuries of industrialisation and agricultural expansion. For generations, the British public had accepted a sanitised, manicured version of nature, forgetting that these lands were once home to magnificent, powerful beasts that shaped the very identity of the wilderness. The mysterious giant that had slipped through the broken fence represented a living link to that forgotten past, a symbol of what the island's forests used to be before the advent of steam and asphalt. Yet, this creature also represented a significant threat to the status quo, as its presence so close to human infrastructure raised intense legal, safety, and political dilemmas that threatened to shut down the entire research project permanently. But the biggest surprise was still to come. As the morning sun began to pierce through the thick canopy of the adjacent woodland, burning away the low-lying ground mist, the true nature of the highway's secret resident was finally revealed to the world. Emerging from the shadows of the tree line and stepping deliberately onto the cracked, weathering asphalt of the A21 was a magnificent 3/4-ton European bison. Its thick, dark brown coat glistened with dew, its massive shoulder hump rippling with muscle as it lowered its broad head to sniff the concrete. This was a species that had been entirely extinct in the wild in Britain for more than 1,000 years, reintroduced through a highly confidential breeding program and released into a nearby enclosed nature reserve, from which this specific individual had escaped. The sight that shocked drivers and scientists alike over the remaining months of the closure was the sheer velocity with which this single animal, followed soon by its introduced herd, completely reclaimed and transformed the industrial space. Where rubber tyres had once screamed at 70 miles per hour, the rhythmic, heavy thud of hooves now echoed through the quiet valley. The bison did not merely walk across the road, they colonized it. With their immense weight and powerful hooves, they cracked the weakened edges of the asphalt, creating micro-fissures where wind-blown seeds could take root. Within a year, vibrant green shoots of wild mustard, chamomile, and resilient grasses were bursting through the center line of the highway. The scale of the transformation was staggering and measurable. Researchers documented a 400% increase in insect biodiversity within the highway corridor. Bird species that had not been recorded in Kent for a generation, including the elusive nightingale and the European turtle dove, were nesting in the rapidly growing scrubland that began to swallow the guardrails. The bison used the concrete barriers as rubbing posts, leaving behind thick tufts of coarse wool that local birds eagerly gathered to line their nests. The once silent highway was now alive with a dense, polyphonic symphony of birdsong, the steady hum of thousands of pollinating bees, and the deep, low grunts of the roaming bison herd. What had been a sterile, grey barrier dividing the landscape had become a lush, green artery pulsing with abundant life, a sanctuary where the ancient past and the modern world collided in spectacular fashion. We often tend to view our concrete structures as permanent monuments to human dominance, indelible marks carved into the face of the earth that nature can never hope to erase. Yet, this extraordinary experiment reminds us that the wild world is not gone, but merely waiting, slumbering just beneath the thin veneer of our tarmac, ready to reclaim its ancient inheritance the very moment we choose to step aside. What are your thoughts on allowing large megafauna to reclaim historical habitats near our modern infrastructure? If you found this journey through the transformed corridor compelling, please consider subscribing to the channel for more deep explorations of the natural world. My name is Julian Vance, and thank you for listening.